I once said it's complicated. It's not complicated compared to other things being complicated. It's not that hard. I was disappointed that they didn't have more in line by the time I walked in.
President Trump taking a swipe at the Republican-controlled Congress on health care. Is he really ready for round two? Here to talk with me about it, former Republican presidential candidate and senator from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum. Jennifer Granholm, former Democratic governor of Michigan, CNN political commentators Anna Navarro and Van Jones. Anna, doesn't President Trump have a point? Republicans have been in Congress and controlling Congress now for quite some time. They've been waiting for a Republican president, and Senator Santorum, a few months ago, expressed surprise that the Republicans didn't have a health care bill ready to go. I don't know that he's wrong. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a good point. Look, I think they caught the bus, and then they weren't ready to catch the bus. Oh, Lord, look what happened. But also, I think that Donald Trump's victory was a surprise even to most Republicans in Congress, certainly to the leadership. It's also, you know, right now, I think the toughest thing going on in Washington is the intra-Republican Party infighting. It is a family that is in shambles right now. There are so many different factions. So it is a tougher job than it used to be. And on the other hand, Donald Trump should put out some detailed policy. I think he's actually done a pretty good job reaching out to Congress, better than President Obama did. Not something that was his forte. But he hasn't been very good about the details and about leading in policy.
Van?
The Republican Party was a good anti-Obama party, but Obama's gone. And so now you actually, this party passed a gazillion bills to repeal health care. I mean, I think 4,800, I can't remember the number.
When they weren't going to count.
When they weren't going to count, when no one was going to sign these things. Suddenly someone may sign the thing and they can't figure out how to pass the bill because they weren't serious in the first place. You had an anti-Obama party, not a populist party, not a conservative party, not a right-wing party, an anti-Obama party, and now they can't govern.
Is the problem, Senator Santorum, to try to play devil's advocate on behalf of our Republican congressional friends, is the problem that President Trump's positions don't necessarily line up on many of these issues with Republican congressional orthodoxy? He is more populist on trade and issues like that?
Yeah, I think that's true overall. I don't think that's true on health care. I think on health care, President Trump is very much in favor of doing something and really punted it to the Congress. And the Congress wasn't ready. The Congress dropped the ball. I mean, they put together a plan that wasn't passable. And I know there are folks working on alternative plans right now. I'm working with some of those folks. I hope we can get something that is workable. The president has to be more engaged and involved in these issues. If there's one failing I would give the president that maybe isn't talked about very much, is he really needs to get his policy chops in line. He has to start understanding the details, particularly when it comes to healthcare, and understand that unless he engages and is convincing members, not I'm going to run somebody in a primary against you, but here's the policy reasons why we need to do this. Here's why this is best for America. We're going to be in trouble. But on your major point, you're right. He is a populist. He is not your typical Republican. And on a lot of issues going forward, this is what always surprises me about the Democrats. There's so many issues out there the Democrats should be embracing Donald Trump on. Trade being one of them.
And I think they will.
And infrastructure. And right now it's just hardcore no because they just hate them. I agree that.
But Governor, let me ask you. I mean, President Trump, I think what Senator Santorum is saying, and hopefully he's listening because it's coming from Senator Santorum. We know he watches CNN. Is that he doesn't know what's in his bills that he's supporting, and it's very clear. Nobody's fooled when he says you're going to have the best health care, you're going to have lower costs, you're going to have lower premiums, everybody's going to be covered. I mean, a lot of these, the points that he's making are completely in conflict.
Right, at odds with the bills that are actually being considered, which continue to get worse. I would say, if you look at, for example, this period of time in all of his predecessors' points, time in office, Reagan and Obama and Bush, they all had significant bills through that involved complex issues like the budget. They were all through one chamber. They were or tax plans that were all through chamber and in committees that were signed within weeks of that 100. Because each of them were working it. They worked it inside of Congress. He has not done that. He doesn't know the substance, as Rick is suggesting. He could really have come out strong and done something on renegotiating NAFTA. There's lots that can be done that Democrats would agree on. He could appoint trade prosecutors. He could do things that really spoke to his base, but he didn't do any of that, and that was foolish.
One of the great benefits for Democrats is he started with the stuff that was easy to unite us against. If he had started with trade and infrastructure, you would be seeing a big problem on the left. He started doing all the stuff that we hated, helped us build the resistance up. I give the resistance, a A+ in terms of being able to take advantage and be able to put up real opposition. But the other thing is, I give Trump an F- for letting down his own base. There's real pain in the Trump voter base that he hasn't dealt with. The opioid crisis is worse than ever. His health care plan would have let insurance companies off the hook for helping with addiction. You have coal miners right now who are about to lose, 20,000 of them are going to lose their health care. He hasn't done anything about it.
Well, he's talked about that.
He's talked about it.
Well, but there's a bill working its way through the Congress right now. That's going to get done.
I'm going to tell you this, though. He is getting the benefit of the doubt from the Trump base. First 100 days, they're not going to abandon him. But if he continues to just offend liberals and then not deliver for his own base, at some point this begins to pile up. He has not done anything substantive on easy stuff for his base.
I spent a year saying that. At some point, this is going to start mattering. At some point, the lies are going to start mattering. At some point, the Access Hollywood tapes are going to start mattering. At some point, the insults are going to start mattering. We went through an entire campaign, and it never mattered. And I think it's incredibly impressive to see how much his base is sticking with
96%.
him, despite of what you said. I think the people who voted for Trump have a pride of authorship. And it is going to take a lot. Yeah. I mean, like felony lot to get him, to get them, and maybe not even that, to not be behind him. It is impressive.
Listen, he's doing a great job keeping his base, but I have to say this because I spent a lot of time now in Trump territory. There is a desperation that I think Democrats and Republicans should pay more attention to for real relief for the people who are really hurting.
And the
opioid
media.
crisis is still not being handled.
And the media. Everyone stay right there. We're going to come right back. Donald Trump getting personal about his first 100 days as president of the United States. His biggest regret so far. What is it? That's next.